Welcome, everybody. Thank y'all for your patience in us actually getting started here. You know, I be running on CP time. So we're going to get started in just a second with the actual masterclass, going through the slides. I'm so excited to bring everyone through today's masterclass session. It's been a minute since I've done a masterclass, which is insanity. So we're going to be doing a lot more of these the rest of 2024. Our goal is to be bringing masterclasses live once a month. Hold me to it. If you love today's masterclass, we would love to get your feedback on topics, any others that you guys have in mind that you want us to bring to life. We're taking notes. We have a couple others that are going to be coming up next, especially for September's masterclass. I'm very excited for, but let us know if there's any topics that you specifically want us to chat about. Anything social media related, branding, music marketing, music biz. We're going to be doing masterclasses that kind of revolve around all of those topics. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Shout out to everyone joining us live via Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn today. So we are testing going live via LinkedIn as well. So it's going to be a great time. We're going to go ahead and get started with just some light introductions. I do have a whole entire deck for y'all today. So if you haven't grabbed your notes or anything to take notes, notepad on your laptop, be sure you're ready for those because I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems and we're going to move through this. I'm going to see if I can get through this in an hour. So that's my goal for today, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and add the deck back to the stage. If you are joining us via LinkedIn or YouTube, if you have any comments, questions, feedback, you can drop it in the comment boxes on those platforms and I'll actually be able to pull it into StreamYard. I'm going to be highlighting some of my favorite comments on the screen. So definitely let me know your feedback as we go along. If you are joining us live via Instagram, I am not able to pull your comments in. I do have Instagram up, so I'm checking for any questions that y'all might have as we go along. So if you're on IG, use the comment section, not the Q&A box, and I'll be able to see them. All right, I think that's it for housekeeping. Let's go ahead and get into it. So today's masterclass is Elevating Your Social Strategy 2024 edition, y'all. I have been getting so many questions from people the last couple months, honestly, all year. But I get a lot of questions just about social. I do my best to answer questions when I can. But I really have been heads down this year, working with my artists, working with UNE clients across a number of different projects, including music rollouts, creative projects and innovative campaigns, experiential events. Social is pretty much my life. So our goal today is to run through how to best use social, how to best use these tools. A lot of this will not be new. Y'all know socials, you know about Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. A lot of artists, creatives, brands, you guys have these platforms that are active already. I'm just going to take you through how to best use these tools and the features of these platforms that are at your disposal for the free to be able to authentically connect, drive conversations, build community, all those good things. So you're in for a treat. A lot of gems are going to be shared. So let me grab my other screen here so we can kind of go through this together. All right. So first off, we're going to go through some core, what we're talking about today, y'all. So core talks for today's session. We're going to go through a quick introduction. I'm going to keep it brief. Elevating Your Social Strategy 2024 edition deep dive. That will be the bulk of today's conversation. Got a time slated for a mini Q&A. I did get a list of submitted questions, so I'm going to go through those. If you're joining us live in real time, I will be prioritizing those questions first. So if you're able to stick around to the end for the Q&A, please do. If you have a question, but you don't think you're going to be able to stick around through the whole thing, drop it in the comments. I'll answer it during the Q&A, and then you can come back and catch the replay. So after that, we have a couple just agency news and updates, and that's pretty much going to be what closes us out today for today's session. All right, so y'all, we're agency stuff. Really launched this agency, and we're here on a mission to truly inspire, guide, and impact artists, creatives, and innovative brands that we work with through things like organic social, digital marketing, experiential events. So if you know me, I'm known for organic social, not paid marketing for a reason. They work together. They're both great, but I'm going to get organic social girly. It's not for the weak. So we're going to go ahead and just do a quick little introduction about myself. Not going to read this whole thing. It will be on the screen. Y'all can just quickly go through it. But my name is Jazz Jackson. I'm the founder and CEO of Unearthly Studios. I hard launched my agency last year after leaving my corporate 9-to-5 to bring this agency to life. I have been working with brands, small businesses, all the way up to some of the biggest brands in the world, including Hydro Flask, Pandora Radio, McDonald's, Jersey Mike's, Puma, Popeyes, Circle K, and Samsung are just some of my dozens of clients that I've worked with over the past decade. And many of them I left just last year in order to pursue my agency full time. So I'm not new to social. I'm true to social. At this point, it's over a decade at this point, and I love it. I love social. It's evolving very quickly, which is why if you're not living and breathing social, if this is not your 9-to-5, there is no possible way you can keep up with the evolution of social and just how quickly these platforms are changing. And when I say they're changing, I'm talking about on a weekly basis at this point. There are platform updates, new features, algorithm changes that if you truly want to elevate your social strategy, not just this year, but 2025 and beyond, either you, your team, if you're a part of a brand, your employees, whoever's running social, they have to have a pulse on what is this thing? How do I use these tools? And to be able to have a pulse on the needle of when things are changing. So next slide. This is just a little bit about UNE, some of our values, etc. I really had this idea to launch my own agency. I don't know. It was like 7 years ago at this point, y'all. I first dreamed up the vision for Unearthly Studios in 2020, and I didn't launch it until 2023. I spent a bunch of time during the course of the pandemic doing market research, talking to artists, brands, different creatives, really taking time to truly understand what are the pain points, what are y'all having, issues with, where are these obstacles, and how can I truly build out services and offerings that make an impact and help you truly achieve your full potential. So spent a lot of time really building out the agency, and you guys can see some of our values on the screen. So we have 5 core values at Unearthly Studios: transformation, service, authenticity, creativity, and community. So everything that we do, our work with our clients, as we're building with artists on the development and management side, as we're building out experiential events, fan and brand activations, we always go back to these 5 values. And if they don't align, we don't do it. So transformation truly is the catalyst, which is why it's first. Our goal here is to help our clients and our artists to create transformation and truly to help y'all build sustainable businesses, especially if y'all are joining that you're artists. Music marketing, especially, but social media in general, it's filled with a lot of information. There's a lot of misinformation on the internet, a lot of hacks, tips, and tricks. We'll get into that later. But our goal really is to give y'all the right tools, the right resources, and the right framework so you can have sustainable success, whether you're a client with us or when you go off and do your own thing. All right. Magic is truly brewing over here on this side. And I think this is my last slide before I get into the bulk of this. So once again, since people are still joining us live, if you are joining us live on LinkedIn or YouTube, you can go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section. I'll be able to pull them up and be able to see them. If you're over on IG, hello. I see y'all over here. I am also checking my IG. So I got to kind of hop back and forth, y'all. Bear with me. Eventually, I'm gonna have a moderator. We're gonna get that, but we're not there yet. So magic is truly brewing. These are just some of the most recent wins. I think this is the most recent wins. Yep, most recent wins just from Team UNE in the last couple months. So like I said, y'all can read through these. These are just some of the things that we're working on, including continuing to develop and build with our UNE artists that are on our roster. We did expand our artist roster, bring it on Grammy winner, hip hop artist and producer Pat Jr. this past May. So we are growing, continuing to work with artists on the development management side, along with doing all the beautiful marketing things. We also had our first agency experiential event in Houston, Texas in June, the Review Room Live, where we brought music lovers and enthusiasts together for networking and an in-person music review experience, sold out attendance, and we have some more experiential events brewing with some cool brands and artists the rest of 2024 and into 2025. One of our artists, as such, recently surpassed over 100,000 organic streams on his 2023 album release, Sunset Nostalgia. And one of our amazing, incredible clients, Geogenesis, just put out his first EP in 4 years called Second Nature. And we've had incredible support from curators, supporters, fans. We got to do this incredible live press conference with Geo a couple weeks ago now, and it was just an incredible time. But we've had support from folks over at Pandora Radio, Audio Mac, Too Lost, among many others. That's just some of the magic brewing. This could go on a few more pages, but that's just some of the magic that we're up to currently. All right, it's time. Housekeeping's over. Let's get into it. So I'm so excited to go through this deck with y'all. I put some time into this, and I'm going to try to keep it within like 45 minutes. I really had to cut a lot of gems out. So that means if you love this masterclass and you want us to do a part 2 or bring others to life, please let us know. It is truly hard to fit so many of the things I wanted to in this 1 hour. Let me go ahead and just check over on Instagram, see if there's anything coming in. If y'all have questions, feel free to use the comment section on IG, not the Q&A box, and then I'll be able to see them. All right. Okay, so today's masterclass, we are going to talk about the real social tea that you need to know. So here's what we're going to be discussing in this section: the power of organic social and why it matters, choosing the right platforms for success, core platform features that you need to know, creative is the catalyst, and community is built over time, not overnight. So those are the 5 main sections, plus there will be time for a mini Q&A towards the end. All right, before we go into the main bulk of it first, we're going to get the social media icks out of the way. This is just some of the feedback that we hear from our community pretty often. Social media is hard to figure out. I feel like nobody cares / sees my content. I don't know what creative content to share. I can't figure out the algorithm. I don't know how to cultivate connection with my ideal audiences. There's way too many platforms to keep track of. All of them are valid. I hear them every single day on calls with clients, on discovery calls with brands and creatives that are coming into my pipeline. We get it. We get it. Social media, especially organic, well, paid too, but organic social, I say it's not for the weak for a reason, and it's not easy to figure out. So we're here to help. We're here to help. So the power of organic social. I get a lot of questions from people asking even about when should I be activated on paid? Should I be running ads? Those questions come up often. And I always go back to first say, if you do not have organic social figured out, you should not be amplifying anything via paid. 1000%. Like paid, coming from the paid side and running these campaigns and spending hundreds of thousands and brand dollars on paid marketing within my course of my career, we don't do anything in paid if the organic creative is not right first. So organic social truly is the catalyst to everything that you will do. No matter if you decide to run an ad, no matter if you're an artist seeking different opportunities, if you're a brand that is seeking to monetize and sell your products, organic social. You got to get good at organic social first. So the importance of organic social media in today's digital landscape. Social media today, 2024, it is the number one way customers connect with their brands, our favorite brands. We find them on social. We follow them on social. I'm a lover of Nike. I go all over Nike's social all the time. My favorite brands across different products, I follow them on social. If you are researching a brand, you're going to their website, but you're also going to their social. Creatives connect with their audience through social, and artists connect with their fans. I know I have a lot of artists, artist teams, labels within my community. We all know that it's the gateway and path for artist discovery in 2024. And while there are a lot of complaints about social media is a tool and a resource. It's not supposed to be the end all be all for what you do. So there's a lot of onus on social, a lot of I'm trying to grow my following. I'm trying to do all these things which are relevant and great. But at the end of the day, social media should be used as a tool to foster community, to engage with your ideal audiences, to drive connection and conversation. And from taking them to social, how can you convert them down a funnel to your own channels? So you should never just be relying on social as the only thing. So we're going to get into the differences between social media marketing and digital marketing in just a second. I also want to bring up the fact that you have the opportunity to reach millions, billions of people for free. For free, y'all. I don't want to hear about algorithms no more. I don't. Because unless y'all want to just flood all your budget into paid, organic social isn't supposed to be easy. You're not supposed to go viral overnight. You're not supposed to get 20,000 views unless you have truly done the work. But I always go back to the point that social media is free. We live in a day and an age where we have these tools at our disposal. You're telling me I can build a brand from my phone? Why would I ever complain about that? Artists, y'all can build fan bases in the millions with organic. Yes, a lot of people do drive with paid, but I have also seen artists who have built their fan bases and their social platforms into the hundreds of thousands, into the millions off of organic social. So is it supposed to be easy? No. Will it take real work and real intention to figure this out? Yes. But here's the thing. A lot of people want the hacks. Y'all want the tips. You want the tricks. How do I shortcut this and that? There's no shortcut. Virality is a whole other thing I might get into today, but there's no shortcut to this. You truly have to learn these platforms. You got to get really great at the platforms. You have to understand the social landscape, and you got to do it consistently. That's it. That's the only way you are going to grow on organic social. And the crazy thing is about social media is that we have seen social media truly transform lives just by showing up, just by posting, just by showing your authentic self, showing your gifts, your crafts. For artists, I'm like, why are we complaining? If you're a singer, sing. If you rap, rap. Show the people what you can do. And for those who understand social, get really great at it, put time, care, and intention into it, social media can turn into massive opportunities to monetize. But the monetization doesn't come first. And I feel like that's really where a lot of people want, well, I want to sell my tickets. I want to sell my merch. I want to do all these things. Brands want to sell products. Okay. But there is a whole strategy you have to put into place before anyone is ready to become a fan of yours or they become a customer of yours. Conversions happen down the pipeline. Organic social is all about the buzz that you're building at the top. So if you have any questions, I know we got a lot of people joining in. Before I go to the next slide, please drop them in the comment boxes so I can check those out. Shout out everyone joining from Instagram. I see y'all. I see the questions coming in. I'm going to get to them during the Q&A section. I do see them. Hi, y'all. Y'all the real ones. Thank you for joining today. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so just breaking this down a little bit because there's some confusion. There are two different parts of marketing on the organic social side. We have social media marketing, and then we have digital marketing. They both include the same, but digital marketing expands out a little bit more with other customer touch points. So social media marketing is going to be everything we know with these core platforms, right? Your Instagram, your Twitter, X, whatever y'all want to call it these days, Facebook, Snapchat, anything that you're doing or like on the core social platforms, social media marketing. But with organic social, and as I say, using your social platforms to connect with your audiences, to have conversations, the onus should be to convert the right people into your own channels. This can be things like emails, starting your own newsletter, blogs on your website, SMS and text messaging, and more. So when you're thinking about digital marketing, it includes social media marketing, but it also includes these other touch points, which are so crucial. I talk to artists, creatives all the time, even brands, and I do ask like, hey, do you have a website? Oftentimes it's no. Do you have an email list? Oftentimes it's no. So if your goal is to be able to reach your audience 100% of the time, we cannot forget about digital marketing touch points. But the whole goal is to create this very cohesive experience for your customers, for your audiences, for your fans from start to finish. We get a lot of complaints about algorithms, right? The truth is, I don't have a slide on algorithms, but with organic social, only 10, 15% of your audience, every single time you post, is seeing your content. The way the platforms work, and this is why community and engagement matters, right? We're going to go into that. The way these platform works is that first, they are going to show your content to a small subset group of people. It might be 10%. So based on that first hour, that first however time frame, how many people engage with the post, comment, save it, share it, then the platforms are like, okay, this is a piece of creative that people care about. Let us push it out even further, which is why it does matter. Engagement matters so much, and I got some tips about how to figure that part out. But yes, y'all, these are just the differences between social media marketing and digital marketing, because I do get a lot of questions about what are they, how are they different? They do work together, and they should all be pretty cohesively aligned within your social media strategy. Okay. There was a question that I might try to answer before I go forward. Okay, so the question from IG is, how long should one be running awareness before going down the funnel and getting them to our website or any other conversion? So with social, organic is always on. So, you're going to be doing awareness like forevermore. The big thing I always say about, especially like paid, if you are going to like do ads, things like that, is the reason why you need to get really, really good at organic social first is because if your content, if the creative isn't great creative, if it's not high quality, including visual audio, and high quality does not mean expensive. Okay. So if it's not engaging, if it's not high quality, if it's not performing well organically, it's likely not going to perform as well in paid. So will you get results if you run a paid ad on it? Probably, but it's probably going to cost you more to get the results you want. So my whole thing is like, you shouldn't be running anything in paid until you get really good at organic and you have those 2, 3, 4 pieces of creative that have done really well organically. That's usually the indicator that, oh, there's something about this or a few things about this that perform well. That piece of content likely would perform well in paid if you optimize it. In terms of the second part of the question about getting them to your website or any other conversion, I truly believe that should be happening from the get-go, point blank period. So, you should always be driving your audiences back to your website, which is why things like if you're a brand, starting a blog, if you are an artist, having your website that has, your show dates, your videos, merch for, if you want to, have people that pay for merch, have that on there. But I believe all that stuff should be happening from the get-go. One of the things that I do in like every single audit that I get and that I do for my agency with clients is we usually have that recommendation of, if you don't have a website, go get you one now. They don't cost that much, y'all. And there's templates for everything, $30 a month. You have to do these investments. And once you have your website, a lot of them have the capability so you can start your newsletter right there. If not, there are so many free ways, free tools that you can use to start your newsletter. If y'all need those recommendations, resources, let me know and I could drop a few. But yeah, always on. You should always be driving, like even for myself, my agency, I have my website, I have my newsletter, I have my blog. It all should be starting right away. Because here's the thing, and I say this to say this because y'all all know how everyone goes in a fury every single time IG goes down. Everyone's in hoots and arms. Every single time Twitter's down. Every single time something's down. We had this big outage last year where I think Facebook was messing up. Instagram and WhatsApp were down, right? They're all like owned. So y'all, how are y'all going to reach your people if you don't have these tools that you own? That's the real question. If your Instagram account got suspended tomorrow, how could you reach your audience? Can you reach your people? Do you know who they are? So I say, y'all, you should be moving your closest supporters, your closest loyal customers into your own channels as soon as possible. Building an email list is still like underrated and is so valuable. If you have 200 people on your email list that if you send an email, you can reach all 200 of them, I would take that better bet versus just relying on organic social any day of the week. So yeah, love y'all. Welcome everyone who's joined. I see a lot of familiar faces. I'm gonna get into Instagram right now. Another question that came in was, how long should one run organically after a post before they start considering paid? That is such a great question. Best practices, we've always let organic creative run for at least a week before amplifying via paid, because you want to see how the content is going to perform organically first. Some people wait a couple weeks to a month and then they start amplifying in paid. I recommend a week minimum. On some campaigns that I've worked on with some of these big brands, it's been as little as like 3 to 5 days, but that's because we were working with celebrities and influencers of all sizes. So But for most people, I recommend if you are thinking about boosting or amplifying a post in paid, let that organic content run at least a week minimum first so you can really see how it performs well. Because as you know, organic creative is more evergreen. So y'all can post something today. You might get a little bit, I didn't really get shown a lot or seen a lot. And then you might check back a week, 2, or a month later, and your post can pick up steam and start going viral. So I've seen it happen so many times, which is why I tell y'all, don't underestimate the power of organic social and the creative that you're putting out there. Just because something didn't take off in day 1 or week 1 does not mean that it is not going to get picked up in the algorithm at a later date. So let's go ahead and of course, if y'all have any questions, especially for Instagram, please put them in the comment section, not the Q&A box. I cannot pull that up because I'm on my desktop right now. So comment section, please, for questions there. If you are live on LinkedIn or YouTube, you can go ahead and put them in the comment sections on the platforms and I can pull them into my StreamYard tool. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and go into Instagram. Instagram is my favorite. YouTube's my favorite. Instagram's my second. But everyone's on Instagram, right? So we're going to start with IG first. And IG is filled with a bunch of different things. But one of my main takeaways I wanted to say to y'all was you got to give your platforms a purpose and set a clear vision for why you're on each platform that you're on. And your strategies for how you interact, engage, including the creative, might be and should be tailored differently for each. That doesn't mean you got to create necessarily all new content. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. But Instagram is filled with all of these beautiful ways that y'all can use it to connect. We're going to go through all of these. You're going to want to take notes. Obviously, I cannot put everything on the screen. So I'm going to go through each parts of Instagram specifically, why they're important, a little bit more of how to use them, and just some gems for each of these. So I'm going to start with feed posts. So I'm going to start with feed posts / carousels. So this is usually what I post. I love my feed posts. I love my carousels. Feed posts are still a great way to reach audiences. I have seen people build accounts into the, tens of thousands and more just off feed posts and carousels and not really using a heavy mix of reels. So they can be super valuable. They are super valuable. When I build out organic strategies for my clients, we use a mix of everything on the platform because they do connect differently. Feed posts and carousels are going to be good for things such as those curated photo dumps that we're seeing. I love those. I highly recommend those. Carousels are also good for educational content, resources. Those are really where you'll see the multi-slide carousels that you can swipe through. I love them. Y'all should definitely be using them, and I know many people are. As you know, Reels is still what IG is prioritizing right now. So Reels is still top priority for the platform. We know in 2024, short form is all the rage for a reason. Y'all, if you don't have Reels heavily mixed into your creative strategy, video, short form, it needs to be. Every single platform is prioritizing them now. So Reels are still going to be the way that y'all can reach non-followers and truly grow. So Reels are great for reach. They're great for reaching non-followers, people who don't follow you already, and folks love video creative. In terms of Reels, I've seen people have success with Reels of all different lengths. So there is no hard and fast rule for how long your Reels need to be. I have a whole slide on creative is the catalyst for a reason, because there are some people who do really well with, 15 to 30 second Reels. But I have seen people that do extremely well with a minute Reels, a minute 30 Reels, because they have high quality engaging content that people will watch from start to finish. So if you don't feel like that's you just yet, my recommendation is do some Reels that are a little bit shorter, because the goal is if you want Instagram to push your creative out to a wider audience, you have to increase your watch time. So if you cannot even hook them in that first 3 seconds to get them to watch more, I would not recommend putting out a minute long Reel. I would start with something between 20, 30 seconds and test that out and build from there. So that's just reels in particular. DMs and stories, y'all. DMs and stories is where the magic happens. That's where fan bases, communities are built. So IG is really focusing back on being a platform that is focused on community and engagement. And IG stories and DMs are such a cool way for y'all to not just like, oh, say thank you to somebody, but like ask questions, get to know people, get to know your audience, get to know your fans. If you're not really utilizing IG stories and DMs as a way to authentically connect and to really deepen those existing relationships with your audience, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I'm going to probably say it's probably part of the reason why you feel like your engagement is lacking. We're going to get into social being social in a second, but DMs do matter, and not just, I'm talking about like really trying to get to know people. Whether you're an artist that's connecting with their fans, sending like, hey, take out an hour a week, send some DMs to everyone that followed you. I have told so many people to do this, and let me tell you, because I do it, I have built so many freaking relationships via DM. Clients, business opportunities, brand partnerships, DMs. So y'all use the DMs. You guys should be interacting with your audiences via DMs. It's important. IG stories are such a fun time. I love IG stories so much. So a lot of people don't know with stories is there are so many different tools that they gave you on stories for y'all to use. And as I do my research on social, I see so many people who don't use stories effectively to their advantage. So I had some notes. Let me see. For stories specifically, that I want to make sure that I touch. But for stories specifically, there's different parts of the stories platform that y'all are going to pay attention to. And as I'm going through Instagram, as you can see, you can't just be like, oh, I posted on Instagram. That's it. There is a whole platform, and each part of this platform, there are different strategies you have to use. You have to learn how to use all of these different parts. And it takes some time to like really figure this stuff out. So stories, if you're not using things like engagement polls, question boxes, what else is on there? Add your own music. There are so many different parts of stories that should be used for you to connect with your audiences. I get it. A lot of people just will repost like, oh, a reel, or post to their stories, or post a whole bunch of other things. But if you're not using your IG stories as a way to connect with your close supporters, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And like I said, IG story engagement is important for your overall Instagram growth. So please, y'all, use some of these features, test them out. If you've never used a question box or a poll or a way to get more insight from your audiences, I highly recommend you try. IG stories also has customizable link stickers. So if you are an artist, creative brand that is driving to your own channels, that is a way to do it via stories. Stories is where the selling actually happens on Instagram. So we don't have, like, we'll get into TikTok next, TikTok shop, cool. But for Instagram, stories is where a lot of the social selling is happening, whether you are driving them to your website to check out your merch or show tickets. I had a link story today that drove y'all here. Stories do matter in the different parts of IG stories. So pull up your phones, go on stories later, take a look at all those beautiful tools that they give y'all to use in them, and test a few out, come back and let me know. But if y'all want engagement, you have to use the tools at your disposal, and Instagram gives them to you. So what else did I go over? IG Live. IG Live is underrated and not utilized enough, in my opinion, by most people that I see. And I live and breathe social. I'm on it probably way too much. That's healthy, but I'm here. I'm going through stories. I'm looking. Even some of the people that I follow, I'm like, y'all don't ever use live. And I know going live can be uncomfortable. Not everyone feels comfortable with that. But as I said, social is meant to be social. And for those in the channels, artists especially are heavily in my network. You got to give your fans a place where they can connect with you. Even if that's just going live during you recording something in the studio and they can just listen. I don't care how many times I got to listen to the same fucking take. Put it on live, go press go and go in the booth and do your thing. Go live during your show performance. Why not? There are so many different ways you can go live without you having to feel like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. That's fine. Go live at some point of time where you're doing something cool, where you know your audience, your fans, or your supporters might want to see and tune in. And the cool thing is, you don't got to go live forever. You can go live for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. Just check in once a week. But these are just different parts of the platform on Instagram that y'all can use to connect. There was another question that came in. There's a lot of questions coming in, y'all. I do have a Q&A at the end. So if I don't get to it right now, I will do my best to answer all of these. Yes, this live is recorded. It will be live on my agency page right after this is done. So y'all can go back and check it right after this. Reels still be successful even if they aren't vertical video content. Yes, it can be. It depends on the creative, I would say. For example, I've seen it work really well. It'll just be more cropped in. Usually it's like smaller on the screen, so it's not fit in the full 9:16 or whatever it is for Reels. So it can work. I would still recommend for majority of your creative that you focus on ensuring that it's the right dimensions for Reels specifically, because once again, that's how consumers are primed to watch. If you do have something that's horizontal, it works, because I have Reels that are posted with cropped in. It all works the same, but you do want to get into the onus of making sure that you are creating via the right dimensions for each part of the platform. But it can work. I've seen it. I see it all the time. Like I said, creative is the catalyst these days. So yes, definitely, y'all. So drop your questions in. I will definitely have more time for Q&A towards the end. Cool. The last thing on Instagram is captions. So captions are important. And I bring up captions because a lot of people are not using captions effectively. Now, y'all, the thing is, hashtags are not dead on Instagram, but they're used for categorization. So I recommend like 5 to 7 hashtags on Instagram max, and they should be really used to help categorize your creative and your profile. But captions is where the SEO happens. So if you're thinking about the TikTok kind of, everything has like come back to SEO now and what's searchable. If you look on Instagram, like you can literally go on and search something in the box and it pops up and then it will load creative. That's SEO that's in the caption. So you don't want to keyword stuff by just adding different like keywords at the bottom. I don't recommend that, but you do want to use your captions to your advantage. So that's going to be weaving in things that audiences would be searching for, whether you're an artist or me, like you'll see like music marketing or artist development or different just like keywords within my captions so that I get categorized and so I reach the right people. Caption lengths also too are something to play along with, y'all. So don't just, the whole one sentence thing, not really about it. I feel like everyone can do a little bit better. Tell a story, share a little bit more about the experience. Like you don't have to use all the character space, but go and beyond. Just every single post has one line. Unless that has been working super well for you and you're like, I got it, my captions work well. That's usually not the case for most people I talk to. So when it comes to SEO purposes, you got to use the caption spaces. All right, that's Instagram. Woo, Instagram's fun, y'all. If you have any questions about Instagram specifically, let me know in the comments and I can go back to them during the Q&A. So YouTube is my favorite. Y'all, please be on YouTube. I want to know, like everyone that is live, are y'all on YouTube? Are you guys using YouTube? Let me know. I feel like YouTube is a platform that's so underrated and that more people should be utilizing. Okay. So, and for the artists, YouTube is not just for your music videos. So we gotta extend the world that you're building here. And YouTube is such a great catalyst. And I say a lot of people should focus on YouTube for a couple things that I'm going to talk about in this slide. First off, y'all, hold on a second. Why is this doing that? Okay. So first off with YouTube, there's different parts of YouTube, right? A lot of people they think, oh, just post my, music video. Some people might post some behind the scenes. Once in a while, people will post live performances, clips and stuff. That's long form. That's great. It's a core part of the platform. But y'all, where the magic is happening on YouTube in 2024 is in YouTube Live, Community, and YouTube Shorts. And I have talked to a lot of people, and a lot of folks are not utilizing YouTube Shorts at all. And I'm going to ask the question of why not? Because it's there and it's a free tool. And if you're finding it that it's hard to grow and you're complaining about algorithms on Instagram and TikTok, it's a supply and demand thing. Everyone is on Instagram. Everyone is on TikTok, right? TikTok is the fastest growing social platform for a reason, with billions of users within 4 years? For a reason. It is so hard. It's so hard to cut through the noise there first. But if you're already making creative for Instagram on Reels, or you're on TikTok, why wouldn't you be repurposing your creative to go on YouTube Shorts? Or why wouldn't you be doubling down on YouTube Shorts more? It is still the platform where there is the most underpriced attention and organic reach. I'm not saying it's easy to grow. I'm not saying you're just going to go viral with one video. But I have seen with my own artists, with my own clients, and with other folks that it works. It works if you learn, every other part, you learn how to do it. And the thing is, a lot of people will post on YouTube once in a blue moon or post a short and it doesn't do much. And they're like, oh, I'm done with it. Look, y'all, everything's going to take consistency. Everything is going to take time. So these are just some parts of YouTube that I highly recommend that y'all start thinking about. Long form videos, extending past just, if you're an artist, there are so many ways that you guys can add different things on your long form channel, whether that's starting a vlog series, some showing BTS, whether that's doing things like tour documentaries and tour vlogs I've seen on there that are really freaking cool. Starting your own creative series that's branded and unique to you. YouTube is a platform that takes time like everything else, but is a platform where it does reward consistency. And the creative matters so much on YouTube. So I love YouTube. And another reason, and the biggest reason, is because everyone wants to earn money. YouTube is the only platform out of all of these that has known how to consistently pay their creators over the past decade. So while there is TikTok that they're doing their creator program, Instagram tried it, Snapchat has their own, YouTube is the only platform that consistently pays out if you do the work. So if you want another revenue stream that's passive, that can live on when you don't want to create, YouTube is a platform that I would double down on. Not only can you monetize off your long form videos, but you can now monetize off YouTube Shorts, which is why I keep telling y'all to go hard on that. And it's a lot more easier these days. YouTube has made it easier for y'all to be able to monetize. I forget the exact metrics that you need to hit in terms of watch hours and stuff, but it's easier than ever to be able to monetize, especially if you're using YouTube Shorts in your strategy. So those AdSense checks, y'all, if you do the work, they can add up, and you might be able to earn hundreds, if not thousands, off your YouTube presence over time. Because like I said, YouTube is an evergreen channel. A video that you post today, if you're just starting on YouTube, is not going to get hundreds or thousands of views unless it's really freaking good. But if you continue to super serve YouTube with long form content plus YouTube Shorts consistently over time, you'll be able to monetize on it. And at first, those checks are going to be a little smaller. But the whole point is revenue streams, especially for creatives and brands. YouTube is still underrated, but I feel like everyone should be heavily leaning in on more. So I'm getting a lot of questions, y'all. YouTube scares me. Yeah, y'all. I mean, I'm on YouTube now, live. It scares me too. But I'm also going to be brand in my personal platform. So the same thing I'm telling y'all, I'm about to be a test, I'm a guinea pig for myself as I relaunch my own personal platforms. It can be a scary place, especially when it comes to long form videos. So like I said, if you're not quite ready to dive in on long form, start with YouTube Shorts, because likely you're already creating short form content. And then when it makes sense to sprinkle in the long form videos, obviously a lot of artists specifically, I know I have a lot of y'all in the chat and in the live today, you're going to amplify your official music videos. You're going to amplify things like lyric videos and other things on there. So there are ways to be able to use YouTube to still serve that long form content with stuff that you're already creating. So yeah, I love YouTube, y'all. Like, if you're not prioritizing your YouTube, I would really heavily put that one at the top of one of your primary platforms. And also, too, if we're talking about artist discovery, YouTube Music, YouTube is big. It is huge. So many people discover music off YouTube. It's not even funny. And we are in a global music economy. So you're hitting people worldwide. So YouTube, y'all, YouTube. Don't let it scare you. Don't let none of these platforms scare you. I promise you. It gets easier over time. But I think the hardest part is just kind of getting started. Cool. The questions coming in, I'm going to answer them during the Q&A. I promise y'all. Thank y'all for sending those in and being so engaged. This is such a great time. So that's YouTube. The last thing is community posts. So for those who aren't quite ready to post long form, maybe you're doing YouTube Shorts, kind of community posts, and community section of YouTube is a way that you can connect with your audiences. You can post photos on there. I think it's up to 5 images now. But if you have photos that you're putting on Instagram, put them in your YouTube community posts. Same thing. These platforms are about community. YouTube is a community platform. Yeah, that's why it's hard to grow on YouTube, because you got to show up. You got to create organic, creative content. You got to form community, and you got to keep people wanting to come back. So community is a section of YouTube that y'all should check out after this if you haven't seen it before. But similarly to IG stories, it's not a stories feature, but it includes things like poll boxes and question boxes. So you can still ask your audience and your fans questions in community. So I love community. It's a newer section of YouTube. I feel like they've been building out more over the past couple of years. I've been testing it with my clients, artists, myself. It's a cool space, and I'm excited to be able to use community a lot more. But that's just some parts of YouTube that y'all should know about and be considering when you're on that channel. And also using YouTube to do your own research. I do that all the time, like follow, go check out other artists. What are they putting on their channels? What content are y'all watching on YouTube, So yeah, YouTube's a fun time. It's a fun time. All right. I think TikTok's next. Oh, TikTok. So people that know me, what's up, y'all? I see y'all in here. I see Tyreek on IG. Yep. Who else is in here? Yo. Okay. A lot of people are joining here. So welcome if you are still popping in. So TikTok is a fun time. Like you can see on the screen. As with all of these platforms, the reason why I say social is a fun time, and also why you have to have a pulse on this, is that on each of these I just showed you, there are all these different parts to these features and all these platforms. So they all work similarly because, these platforms are copying each other, but, they still have their own purposes. So TikTok is, if you know me, I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok. I still, personally, I'm not big on TikTok for me. But that's the thing. You choose your platforms, you give them a purpose. You don't need to be on all of these. It would serve you well to repurpose your content on all of these. But my big thing is, if you have one platform that's focused on short form, like a TikTok or an Instagram, you don't have to be on both if you don't want to be. Now, is your audience on both? Yes. So you should be. But everyone's different. A lot of people do not like TikTok, which is why it's like, okay, well then go do Instagram, YouTube Shorts, right? So if you don't like TikTok, you don't need to be on it. There's obviously potential for everyone to be on that platform, but it's not for everyone. So in the case of TikTok, still love the platform. I know everyone's questioning, like, is TikTok going to get banned, y'all? I don't know. Which is why I do say diversify your platforms and have your organic content sprinkled out amongst different places, because here's the thing. I have worked within social for 12 years. I have seen these platforms come and go, from Vine to like Tumblr's still here, but like the height of Tumblr has definitely died down. It's still a great platform, but Vine, Clubhouse, different platforms were like, oh yeah, these are going to be here forever, and they didn't make it. So we don't know about TikTok. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I know Instagram and Facebook's not going anywhere anytime soon, but TikTok, we'll see this fall. We'll see what happens. So diversify if you haven't already. And if TikTok's been your number one platform, I would say figure that out now, just in case. But with TikTok, there's different parts of the platform, including TikTok Live, TikTok Stories. We got regular TikTok feed, which is TikTok videos, short form, TikTok Shop, TikTok Sounds, and hashtags. So TikTok is a platform that has a bunch of different features that they've been rolling out. So we're going to go through these ones. So I'm just going to start with TikTok Live, because similarly, it is an underrated part of TikTok that a lot of people are not taking advantage of, is similarly with IG Live. The difference is IG Live is you're being shown to people who already follow you. The cool thing about TikTok now is that you're being shown to people who do not follow you. So if you're trying to grow on the platform, reach new audiences, get pushed out to people who don't even know who the F you are, I would focus on TikTok Live, sprinkle in some IG Live if you are on that platform. TikTok Live is a great place to connect and expand your reach. I mean, I've seen people gain 100 followers just from going live for an hour, 1,000 followers from being live for 2 hours. It can happen. It happens every day. So I would encourage, especially artists, because y'all got a lot of stuff you guys can go live for, creatives too, brands are using TikTok Live in a major way. Test TikTok Live out. We already know about TikTok videos. You see everyone posting on TikTok. The big thing with TikTok is like there's different feeds. So, you have your For You feed, you have your follower feed, and you have your friend feed. So there's different feeds on TikTok that you might be getting pushed out to with those video content. So there are different feeds within TikTok, as most people know. TikTok Stories, similar to IG Stories, another place where you can serve different creative, where people can connect with you. But one of the things that I want to spotlight on is hashtags and then TikTok Sounds. Obviously, TikTok is a platform that, obviously all of them, but TikTok specifically, sounds are everything, music is everything, and audio is everything. So TikTok Sounds is just something to keep in mind for two things. One, if you're an artist, making sure that, yes, on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna get to that question. If you're on TikTok, for TikTok Sounds specifically, if you're an artist, right, making sure that your music through your distribution is getting uploaded correctly into the TikTok Sounds library. Very important. A lot of the times it works without fail, but when y'all are putting out music, especially, please go and check that your music is available in these libraries, the IG audio library, all of it. It does matter, especially if you do want folks to be able to use your music. On TikTok, you also have your music accounts. So those are different accounts that y'all got to apply for, so you guys can get your music on TikTok. If you have the music profile on TikTok, like when you have a new release, it spotlights the new sounds. So if you guys don't have the music account or haven't applied for that and you're an artist in here, please do that after today's call. But TikTok Sounds are important. We also know trends, right? We see how trends go. Someone takes a sound, uses it in their own way. So do not underestimate the power of, not saying you have to do every trend, but if there is a sound that you like, if there's a trend that you like that you can reimagine and kind of do it. Test different sounds out. I have seen, as a hindrance that I want to point out, is for artists, a lot of y'all don't want to use other sounds other than your own original music. And I'm not saying it can't work, But you gotta understand that if people don't know who you are, they're not searching for you. So unless you are really amplifying that sound, which is why you see on TikTok, people will be like posting the same 30 seconds over and over with just like that same hook or same chorus verse, and then creating a bunch of different organic content around it. It's because of the sound. You want that sound to take off, which means people need to be using that sound. That's the only way it happens. So TikTok sounds are very important, but also too, I would encourage a lot of y'all to use other sounds, get creative, try some other stuff out. Plus, obviously, your original music and your original audio is going to be the basis. Also, too, just using your original, music and audio repeatedly does help. A lot of times, people will just post a couple pieces of content with their music and then wonder why something doesn't take off. It takes a little bit more than that. So that's TikTok. That's just different parts of the TikTok platform. I'm trying to go back to this question. Let me see. If you have music through DistroKid on YouTube, how do you go about posting your music without accidentally getting flagged for copyright? The thing is, I've seen people still get flagged. So it's one of those things that can happen. It shouldn't happen more often if your music is yours, cleared, if you have no samples, it shouldn't happen, as it shouldn't really be happening. But I have seen cases where people have gotten stuff copyrighted with their own music. It can happen. YouTube is not perfect, but I wouldn't let that scare you. It's just something that can happen once in a while. But if you are using real, cleared music, no samples, you shouldn't really see that issue happening too much. So let me see if there's any other questions about TikTok in here. I think we're good. To move on. Yep, I answered that question. Some of these other questions I'm going to go through in just a little bit, y'all. Because I got some more slides for y'all. So that's TikTok. So I'm only going to go through 3 platforms. There's way too many for me to cover today. So just going through Instagram, YouTube, TikTok on today's session. If there are platforms that you're curious about learning more about, drop a comment, send me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you want to find me, and I can try to build that out. The last thing I want to touch on is hashtags on TikTok. They are important. A lot of y'all are not using hashtags right. So you should have 3 different types of hashtags, right? So you should have a branded hashtag for yourself or for your music, whether that's the title of the track, whether that's hashtag, geogenesis, right? So people can find you in the platform when they're searching it. And then you should have something that's a little bit more niche. It could be like hashtag neo R&B. And then you should have a broad hashtag. And the one recommended for music on TikTok, I believe, is hashtag new music, right? So you do want to use your hashtags on TikTok specifically, very, very well. You don't want to put too many on there, but you want to make sure that you have something that's branded, something that's niche, and something that's broad for hashtags. They do matter on TikTok so much. So it's the way that people are finding music. It's the way people are finding creatives. I go search hashtag new R&B music, new R&B, I think, and I go and find a whole bunch of upcoming R&B artists, for example. So just be sure that you guys are using hashtags on your TikTok posts, and don't forget about them. They matter a lot. What is up, y'all, on Instagram? We got a lot of people tuning in on different platforms today. That's TikTok. What slide is next? I don't even know. Oh, platform updates. So I'm just going to do a couple because people have asked me about Instagram platform updates specifically. TikTok, there are updates, but right now they're not super crucial ones that I wanted to cover today. So these are just the ones for Instagram to start with that y'all should definitely know about and be aware of or on the platform. So I know a lot of people know about IG broadcast channels. I also know not everyone has access to all of the features just yet that I'm going to say. So your homework after this is just to go and check, see if you have access to some of these features. If not, it's going to be a likely case of when you get it, not if you get it usually. So just kind of, TBD if you don't have access to them. But Broadcast channels, yo. I'm obsessed with broadcast channels. I'm telling everybody about broadcast channels. I did not put threads on here, but we can touch on threads in a little bit. Broadcast channels. Y'all, if you don't have a broadcast channel and you have the ability to create a broadcast channel, like I said, these platforms reward engagement and community. And broadcast channels are also a good place and a great place for y'all to be able to get a pulse on how many like close supporters do you have? How many like core day one fans do you really have? If people are in your broadcast channel, it is the biggest indicator that they want to stay up to date with y'all. Why wouldn't you have one of these? I've heard complaints. It's another part of the platform that I got to spend time on. You're absolutely right. But I promise you, it takes 15 seconds to amplify your post in your broadcast channel. If everyone has been complaining about the algorithm and, your 10 to 20% of your audience is being seen, start a broadcast channel. Because if you have 100 people in that broadcast channel, 200 people, 2,000 people, every single time you post, it is going right into their DMs. They're getting the update right there. So if the onus is, I want to reach more people, I want to connect more with my day one supporters, I would do a broadcast channel. The cool thing about broadcast channels is the same thing with Instagram. It wants you to engage with your people on these platforms. So if you're not growing, it's because you're not engaging. I promise you. I'm going to double down on that. You're not using these tools right and most effectively to engage. So broadcast channels are cool. Same thing like stories. There's polls. You can ask questions. You can share images. So if you're an artist that's on tour, drop 5 or 6 images from tour. If you're filming a music video, drop some images from you behind the scenes. You can use them to go live specifically in your broadcast channel now. So you can go live just for your closest supporters. So if you have 100 fans, like your day one supporters in there, you can go live just for them. You can share exclusive updates. BTS, you can share snippets. Anything can be put in that channel. And it's just a place for you to cater and super serve the people that really want to stay in the know. But I recommend them. If you don't have a broadcast channel, please go create one. And you already know how Instagram and all these tools work. You get rewarded when you're using them first. Because y'all won't be complaining a year from now when everyone has a broadcast channel and people are over them or maybe aren't using them as much. Because I'm in a lot of broadcast channels. So my DMs are kind of crazy, but I use it for research purposes. So I can literally tell y'all these channels work. You can literally go on, post a weekly voice note to your supporters. Hey, y'all, this is what I'm working on this weekend. Working on some new music, gearing up for tour, blah, blah, blah. They're great. So start testing those out. IG Notes is another new part of Instagram. I love IG Notes. So if y'all have noticed the notes that you can leave when they show up in your inbox and you can leave like little notes or you can add like a track of music, those are the notes. They just expanded notes to in-feed and reels. I've been kind of going crazy with this, so I need to calm down. But you can leave comments on people's like in-feed posts and reels. And if you and another person follow the same people, you're going to get notifications that, oh, this person, left a note on this. Are you both like this? So it's just a way for friends and like connections to be able to like foster those and deepen them. Here's my hack though for this. If y'all want a tip, I would use IG Notes on your feed and reels as a CTA. Because when you're using your captions, a lot of people aren't reading them. But if you want them to be like, oh, leave a comment or visit my IG story for an exclusive, you can just use the notes and just add a quick little note and it's going to pop up. The thing with notes is that they don't stay forever. I believe on InFeed and Reels, you only get them for 3 days. So they are a temporary note, but it's a great way to drive engagement. And like I said, this just rolled out within the last couple weeks on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Instagram. So yeah, go check those out. If you've seen them and you're like, what the F is this? It's a newer update on the platform. But I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with them. And I think it's just a great way to continue to interact with each other. But did we need this other feature? Who knows? Couple other IG updates. This is just new, out within the last 48 hours. I'm still trying to deep dive on what this is going to look like on my side. I haven't gotten the updated screenshot board yet. But IG is now going to focus on views as a primary metric in analytics. So you might not see this change now, but if you're artist creative, if you're a brand and you're not checking your insights every single month, I would highly encourage you to start doing that. There's no way you know how your creative is performing if you are not checking your analytics on these platforms. And I'll get into that. I think there's another slide on that. But you really should be checking your analytics, and views is going to be the primary metric now. So it's still like reach will be shown, impressions, but they're counting views as the primary metric across all formats. Because if you look at the analytics tab now, it's different for different parts of the platform, but views is going to be the primary metric, and it will be counting like how many times people are watching. So your views are going to likely increase. You're going to see this difference. And it's also a reason why the algorithm has been kind of wonky this last week. IG is rolling out a bunch of things, and this metrics analytic update is one of the big ones. So I would pay attention, especially if you're someone that has a pulse on your analytics and you look at this, you're going to see those changes and updates here pretty soon. The last update on Instagram before we move on is adding multiple tracks per reel. So I know a lot of people are editing not within the Instagram platform, but similarly to CapCut, it's now a way that y'all can add multiple tracks per reel. So, you know, music curators would really love this one if you are editing in-app. I know a lot of people aren't these days, but just know there are now more tools so you can add multiple tracks, create your own different mixes in there. And, you know, similarly, they're going to be able to, other people, even fans, if you do like a custom mix of your music and it's like mixed together, they can use that audio too. So these are just some of the newer Instagram updates that I wanted to shine a spotlight on for y'all today. There's a lot more. There's always an update. There's always an update. So these are just some of them. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. I think that's it. If y'all have any questions about these updates, any of the platforms that I covered today, drop them in the comment box, and I'll make sure that I answer them during the Q&A. Okay, so we're getting towards the end here. And this is my favorite, one of my favorite slides, which is creative is the catalyst for success. So with creative specifically, I wanted to put a little bit more of text on the screen so y'all could really see that it's pretty important. It's pretty important, and there's different parts of creative, right? So Gary Vee said it best that before creative really was the focus, it was really about, just some years ago, about your following. You are being prioritized by these platforms based on the size of your account and your following. Now, it's all about the creative. That's it. You can literally have an account with 100 followers, 500 followers, a few thousand, and your creative will take you into a viral video, right? Or a video that does tens of thousands of views and it grows your following. No longer is it that, oh, my creative and content can't do well because I don't have a big account. That's really not the case. Now more than ever, anybody has a fair chance if your creative is great. And I say creative, it has to be high quality. It has to be engaging. That doesn't mean high budget. Like literally take your iPhone, shoot content. Most of y'all got iPhones that shoot in like 4K now. So y'all, it's not about what money you put into it. It's really about, is your creative connecting? Is it fostering engagement? Is it sparking conversation? And most importantly, is your content share worthy and save worthy? So when we focus on like Instagram, primarily, right? The others too, the way creative, takes off, right? And more people see it is through things like saves and shares. So like one of the things that I always say is like, one, you got to give each piece of content a goal. Like, what is the goal of this video I'm putting out or this post that I'm sharing? Like, am I here to entertain? A lot of artists, y'all are entertainers. That's usually that value. That's the value you're giving to your audience. am I entertaining them? Is this a post that's aspirational or inspirational? Am I educating with this post? Like, what is the goal of the creative? Even from there, each of the piece of content specifically, like as I build out strategies for myself, my agency, artists, and clients, there's another goal too. Like, is this content meant for brand awareness? Like, is this something that is like, we really want this to be save worthy, share worthy, brand awareness building? Is this a piece of content that's really meant to nurture my audience a little bit more? So content that's geared towards people that maybe already know of me, already follow me. So you can give your content a clear and specific goal. It should. If you're just posting into the ethos and you just like throwing shit at the wall, that's most of what organic social is. But you should still have some sort of goal in mind for like, why am I even creating this? Like, what is the goal that I'm trying to do? So if knowing that creative is the catalyst for success, that also means all these other things. One, which is why we focus on organic social and branding with our clients at Unearthly Studio, is you really do have to have and develop a unique brand image. And that goes into a whole bunch of other things that will be in a different masterclass. I cannot get into branding specifically today, but you do have to go back to, how are you authentically connecting? Authenticity is key to your audience. And is this uniquely, branded or catered to me? And also, is this content, how would I say this? Is this content really geared to target and to hit the ideal audiences that I want to target? And an example of that could be like, maybe you are an R&B singer and you're a girl, okay? But like, maybe you love like fashion or styling, or like I've seen artists that are like nail techs, like any other passion, right? How can you share, like music might be the main thing that you do, but you are a unique individual. Every artist is different. Every content creator is different. Every single brand is completely different. No two people are the same. So I feel very strongly about like getting clear and getting clarity on like who you are, knowing who you are, knowing the audience that you want to target specifically inside and out. Who are they? What do they like? What are their passions? What are their interests? What are their dislikes? You really got to do this brand identity work even before y'all go into, I'm just going to create all this random ass content. So especially if you're putting a budget into music videos and spending hundreds or thousands of dollars, if building out different things for your upcoming music rollout, if you don't know who you are as a brand first, I'm going to really question, how are you planning to authentically connect with the audiences you want to reach? Because it all comes back to branding and knowing like who my audience is, who I want to target. So branding and identity work should come first. Always. A lot of people I know haven't really taken the time to really get clarity on that. So I'm going to do a masterclass about branding again. I did one last year. So we're going to do another 2024 edition for Brandon. So let me know what questions you have for Brandon and I'll get to those soon. Of course. What's up, y'all? I see y'all joining in here. A lot of great questions, y'all. I'm almost at the Q&A. I'm almost there. So I'm going to get to those in just a couple minutes. The only other thing I really wanted to touch on here is content pillars are creative pillars. Some people don't like them. I'm a fan of them, especially when it comes to gaining clarity and to be able to drive consistency on your socials. So that's like a big thing to kind of keep in mind, is using creative as a catalyst and really making sure that your content pillars are doing what they need to do and are super structured to allow you to create the right creative consistently. So and my internet might be acting a little bit slow, so I'm just like kind of watching it. But if I cut in and out at any point in time while we wrap this up, just let me know. And yeah, let me just go back to Instagram and see if there's any other questions that came in here. Okay. Yeah, we'll get to the rest of the Q&A in just a second. So yeah, content pillars are great. I love them. When I build out social strategies for my clients, everyone has their own set of creative pillars we built out after we do the research and we build their plan. And it's usually like 4 to 5 topics that you are going to like always consistently create creative around. This is going to look different for everybody in this space. Anyone who's catching the replay later, which is why going back to unique branding is so important, because your brand is going to inform your content pillars, and your content pillars informs the creative that you create. It all works together. So creative pillars are something that we recommend. Like, have 3 to 5 topics that you always talk about or showcase on your platforms. For example, I'm just going to use my personal brand. I have my own personal brand, all that jazz. I focus on a few things core. It's usually thrifted fashion, sustainability, lifestyle, which will include music, travel. Those are like my 3 to 4 topics that when I relaunch on my YouTube, you're going to see. So you got to kind of just know, okay, this is what I'm known for within like these 4 or 5 categories. You don't have to, quote unquote, niche yourself in. I truly believe you have to niche down at first for many reasons and then expand out as you build and grow over time. But if you have 3 to 5 topics that you always create content around, it's going to keep you focused and structured of like, okay, if I focus on thrifted or sustainable fashion, from that pillar, what are all the other topics I can talk about within this one pillar? So that just gives you 1, clarity, 2, consistency, 3, structure. And then from there, it's like, okay, I know I talk about these things. So what are the ideas that I want to bring to life? Experimentation is key, y'all. A lot of social is just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. I ain't gonna lie. Experimenting is everything. And if you feel like what you're doing right now isn't working, it could mean a couple other things, but it likely means we got to switch something up, try something different, test a new creative series, test a different content format. It might mean experimenting between written and video. I don't know. Everyone's different. I would have to do an audit on your personal platform to give you more of a, like, here's what I would recommend to test out. But really, you have to experiment on socials. You will never know what works if you do not experiment. I'm saying. So be open to testing things out. If you have an idea for like a series that you want to bring to life, fuck it. Try it out. Why not? Who cares if no one picks up on it the first 1, 2, or 3 times? But you're never going to know what your audiences love, your fans like, if you are unwilling to even put the content out there and see how it resonates. So social really is about feedback as well, which is why I say engagement matters. Ask your audience questions, put up in stories or in your broadcast channel. Ask them what they would like to see. I will say, I don't see enough people doing that. Like, if you're stuck on like, you don't know what to create, I would ask your audience first. Get some feedback, see what they're loving. Go to your posts on socials, see what people are commenting on more. Like, oh, they really liked when I showed this cover series I've been doing. Or, oh, they really have been rocking with these live performance videos, examples. So you got to experiment. You got to be willing to test some things out. Knowing that creative is the catalyst for success, y'all, and we are in a supply and demand place where everyone is just like scrolling on their phones. You don't have a lot of time to hook your audiences. And this is the fact. And this is why watch time matters so much on TikTok, on YouTube, and Instagram. Watch time matters. So if you are not able to hook your audience within 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, they scroll. So you really have to use that first 3 seconds to get them to watch. And if you're not doing that, I would go back to thinking about the creative that you are putting out, experimenting, testing some other content formats, content series, reimagining some things. You don't have much time. Attention is the currency. I'm going to say it again. Attention is the currency. And you do not have a lot of time to get someone's attention, and you do not have a lot of time to keep someone's attention. So the reason why social is hard is because of this. Not only are you competing on one platform, you're taking away from time that people want to watch all these Olympics going on, their favorite sports team, Netflix. you're competing for attention across the board. And it is a supply and demand game on Instagram and on these socials. So y'all, you gotta be able to hook people. There's different hooks, different things people can use. Some of it is what you say in the first 3 seconds. Most of the time, it's what you show in the first 3 seconds. So just know you do not have a lot of time to hook your audience and get them to watch. But it's possible. It works. But you do have to like test things out, experiment, really focus on, I know that these first 5 seconds gotta be effing amazing. And yeah, y'all know about consistency. So we could talk about that. I think y'all get that you have to be consistent on these social platforms. And I'm going to tell y'all, like, there are so many people who are not consistent on these platforms at all. Like, you cannot show up every 2 weeks. You cannot show up once a month and think you're going to grow. That's not how this works. It's not going to work. So if you are finding like, I'm not really building community or my engagement's low, I'm going to go back and ask. This might be a few different things for everyone, but oftentimes I'm seeing you're just not consistent enough. You don't show up enough. And like I said, this is why you have to test different formats. You don't have to post 4 reels a week if video content might be a harder lift for you. But can you do a reel a week? Can you do 2 static posts? Can you go live? If you're unable to show up consistently, you will not grow. Or you can funnel a whole shit ton of money into paid ads and burn through that. But if you want to go organically, you have to show up on these platforms consistently. Every platform has a different cadence, but if you want to grow, you got to be aggressive. Posting 4 to 5 times a week on Instagram, posting on TikTok once a day. This is what it takes to grow organically. And if we know attention is the currency, you kind of got to show up, or the thing is, you will get left behind. It is what it is. And I tell people, if you are unable to post at that high of a cadence, that's okay. What can you do consistently that you can sustain? And if you can't sustain posting twice a week, it's likely not going to work unless your content is like on fire, quality, engagement, then only then you can get away with posting 1 or 2 times a week. But I do not see that across the board for 90% of the people. And even for the creators who have the tens and hundreds of thousands of followers, I want y'all to go on these pages and see how often they post and then come back to me. And if you're not doing that caliber of work, it's the work part. Keep telling people social is not for the weak. Woo, it takes some time. Consistency is key. So when y'all work with me as a client, you'll know your strategy plans are aggressive for a reason, because y'all tell me, I want to grow. I want to connect with my fans. I want to build community. You don't build community by not showing up. So those are things to keep in mind if y'all are using social to build a fan base, if you're a brand, to sell your products, if you're a content creator that wants to continue to grow and be able to do brand partnerships and deals. That none of that comes without consistency. I promise you. Coming from working with what I've seen in the past 12 years, consistency matters. And I'm even going to say this for artists specifically before I go into like this last slide in the Q&A. Y'all, everything that you want, all these opportunities you want, the show performances, the bookings, what else y'all want? It's not happening if you're not consistent. And guess what they're checking? Your socials. They go to your socials. They sure do. And they scroll and they look at your content and they look at your engagement and they pay attention. And if you're not showing up consistently, if you're not building true community, like these things aren't going to happen. So y'all, I'm telling you, social is a powerful tool for a reason, but only if you can really take the time to put in the right work consistently over a long period of time. This is not an overnight play, which is why there is nothing in this deck about viral, going viral. I don't care about viral. Doesn't truly matter. I promise you, coming from working with brands, creatives, celebrities, virality doesn't do shit if you do not know how to effectively capitalize off of it. So everyone that wants to go viral but doesn't have a website, doesn't have an email list, don't have a newsletter, their socials aren't it doesn't matter. They're going to come for one video. They might follow you, But from there, the long gone are the days where people going viral off one thing and getting something. It's not happening, y'all. And if you're focused on like, oh, I need to go viral, that's why. That's not why. I promise you that's not going to be the magic pill. Like, you can go viral once, and I've seen it where it has the opposite effect of what someone wants for a brand and for an influencer. So virality is not everything, and oftentimes it can really skew some things up in terms of analytics, audience stuff. So you guys got to understand that, like, the consistency, the right work, the brand strategy, and like really getting really great at these platforms matters, especially for all these other opportunities that y'all want. Like, even artists in the channel going after distribution deals, or I want to be signed to a label. If that's like the thing you want, cool. If you want a distribution deal, cool. But here's the thing. They're going to check your socials. They sure are. So I'm telling y'all, get really good at using these tools, build your own momentum first. And like from there, everything else, it can come there more seamlessly for you. Social's a fun time, y'all, but it's not easy. And if you know me, I don't sugarcoat nothing, not a damn thing. So we're going to go into this last slide, and then I'm going to answer a couple questions. And we already talked about this one, so I'm not really going to harp on this one too much. But really, the big takeaway is like community is built over time and not overnight. So you're going to get out of social what you put in. So the whole, oh, they commented, I'm going to leave an emoji, a fire emoji. I'm going to ask why, because that feels really lazy. It is lazy. And if you're talking about my engagement's low and the algorithm this, if you don't even care about showing up enough to respond to your comments, what are we really doing here? And what are y'all really talking about? That's going to be what I'm going to say. And I say it all the time. You going to get out of social what you put in. So if you're not responding, if you don't go to your followers or fans' pages and interact back with them, if you're not willing to send a DM message to the people that are following you, how are you supposed to build community? A follower is not a fan. And I think like so many people have it twisted on organic social where you think, I have 10,000 followers. Cool. But you don't got 10,000 fans. Because you don't build fans in a vacuum, and you don't build fans by not showing up. So I would take a look at all these things on the screen and really think about how am I building true community? Am I creating fan/brand experiences for my audience? Online counts too. There's a lot of things you can do virtually if you are unable to put on your own show or put on a fan event. Maybe you're not there yet, but you can show up online, right? We all know y'all can, because we all got through the height of the pandemic together. So I've seen it. And community spaces. Do you have your own community space online? This could look like a Discord. A lot of people are in Discord. This could look like something on your own website. There are different community spaces. Twitch, I would even put on this list as places where you can foster really great community. YouTube is a community building platform. Are you doing collaborations and partnerships with others? This can look like, for artists, yeah, you might be on a song feature together, but how are you really amplifying that? Are there other partnerships that you can bring to life within, your aligned audiences? How are you fostering connections and conversations, which goes back to IG stories, DMs, or like lives? For artists, are you outside? Are you in your communities? Are you getting out and supporting other people? Are you performing? We know that fans are built at live shows as well, so I did put this on the list as things to think about. But the big takeaway for this slide and for everything is it's not built overnight, y'all. So you gotta take time. You get out what you put in, and the main thing is social is truly meant to be social. So with that, I think that is my last slide. I think resources. Okay, this is the last slide, and then Q&A for like 5 minutes, and then I gotta go. So here's some resources, y'all. And guess what? These are the same ones I use to learn about social myself. So if you are not quite ready to, work with a digital marketer or bring on a strategist to your team, if you're unable to do so, this is where if you don't have the money, you're going to have to invest invest more time. You are going to have to do what you need to do to learn how to use these social platforms. I read all of these every single day or every single week to keep a pulse on social. I'm giving them to you. We all can learn together. But here's the thing. You got to want to do the work. You got to want to learn. You got to want to be like, I want to get really good at YouTube or really good at Instagram, or if TikTok's your thing. Here's just a few resources I would recommend. Obviously, we're going to have the Unearthly Studios masterclasses. Our newsletter is going through a refresh. So we're going to start doing our newsletter again, where we'll have more educational gems, things that will be put in specifically in there. Later is awesome. Go check out Later blog, Hudson, Social Media Today, the IG creators account. I recommend every artist, creative brand should be in one. Follow the creators account on Instagram. It's just creators, I think. And then go and follow the creators broadcast channel. So all these updates that I gave y'all about Instagram, Adam Azori literally just tells everyone how to use Instagram. He literally goes on there and tells y'all how to use this tool, how to grow. But the problem is most people are just not taking the time to care enough to do the work. So for those who love to learn and are ready to take full accountability for what y'all know about social and to learn and grow, these are what I would recommend. So this is just a list of resources. As I mentioned, this replay is going to be on YouTube right after I stop going live. So go back and check out this list. And we are going to put a list of resources together for y'all to share out as a freebie soon. So don't worry if you can't catch all of these or you haven't checked them out. I'm going to have a cool freebie for y'all soon that you guys can download, take, and kind of keep together. So I believe my next slide is Q&A. It is. Okay. So I'm just going to answer a couple questions. First, I'm going to go back through just Instagram real fast and see if I missed any questions that I didn't get to. I love this question. Okay. So I definitely want to answer this one. And then there's some, I have like, I'm going to have to do another live Q&A for you guys. A Q&A power hour, hopefully this month, because I just have 20 plus questions and I can't answer all these. So I do want to answer this one before I go. It's how can one utilize social media to get into the media, movie, agency, creative field of industries? Ooh, I love this question. So social media is insane because we have seen it like lead to so many incredible opportunities for people, right? So many. You have people, I don't even have examples because my head be spinning with just like how much I see on social. But there's this one creator I love. His name's Derek, and he has his squirrels. And I don't know if y'all seen him, but he's one of my favorite freaking creators. And he got started, I believe it was during the pandemic, just posting videos of these squirrels that he was taking care of and feeding. Just literally creating videos about Maxine and Richard and the damn squirrels. I love animal content, so that's that. From that, though, this man, I don't know how many people, let me just go on his Instagram. I think he has like 500,000 now. Let me see, Derek. Yeah, Derek, let me see. Oh, he's at 1 million now. And not only is he at 1 million, he's a #1 bookseller now because he used social media to build an audience that led to other ventures, right? This man been on red carpets, you know, brand deals galore, just has all speaking opportunities. I'm sure he's probably going to get into acting. I don't know. But here's the thing. Social really is just a catalyst that can lead to so many other opportunities. We've seen it time and time again. So if you are a creative, whether you're an artist or just a content creator, a storyteller, it leads to everything. There's another creative that I am friends with. His name is Steven Mula, and he is a videographer, creative visuals, right? Just built his account, showing his skills, gifts, passions, talents for videography and filmmaking. That led to him getting seen by Russ, the Russ we all know and love, right? So just from him using social to showcase himself over a period of time, it led to one big opportunity that changed his entire life. And obviously now from that man is not worried about no money, no nothing, right? He's working, he's doing his thing. Like opportunities are coming in. So who knows what else he might do in the future? I don't know. But he has a lot of cool things going on that have built just off of social. So social is amazing. I promise y'all, but like I told you, it's not supposed to be easy. It's a free tool. And it's a supply and demand game, right? Everyone's on social. So those are just some of the things I would say for that question. If you have any questions that I haven't seen yet, if you just joined in now, I'm going to answer like one more question from my submitted, and then it's time for me to go and eat some lunch. I've been on here like an hour and a half plus. So let me just see what other questions I had in here. I have a whole list. So this one has come in, and I'm going to answer it just in relation to social. And this is coming from an artist manager / artist management company. So it's more talking about what ways can I gain opportunities for current and future clients. If we're talking about social, like if we know that the catalyst, like social is the number one way like people are discovering artists, whether you're finding them on YouTube Music or you came across a TikTok or whatever, it's really to prioritize social for your clients. It's non-negotiable, y'all. Like, I don't care. Like, you guys cannot sit here and say, I want to be this and I want to do that, and you're not showing up. Like, and all these other opportunities, like I said, whether you want to get booked for a show, if you want a paid partnership and a brand deal, if you want to fans that are primed and ready to buy when you release a project or drop a, show tickets or a merchandise line, you have to be on social and you have to show up consistently. So I would say to that, like, if they're not on social, if social is not a priority, if you have clients that do not truly understand the social and digital media landscape, focus there. All those beautiful opportunities that people want, the press, the features, the glitz and the glam, it's going back to social. We can't get away with it in 2024, which is why I wanted to do this masterclass for y'all. Like, you can't shortcut this work. Like, for artists who want to get show bookings, you got to be performing outside and doing those things to lead to more. But then it's like, okay, I'm outside performing. I'm going to videotape this. I'm going to record it. I'm going to clip it up. I'm going to put it on social. Then that's going to lead to more discovery. Then another booking agent or promoter in a different city might see you have done that live performance and be like, oh, you're active. You're doing stuff. What about this? I want to invite you out for that. So it all works cohesively. But all the kind of like the ROI, the conversions that everyone wants at the bottom of the funnel, like I said, social, it starts at the top and then it goes down. That's marketing just 101. So those are just something I would say for that. So yeah, I know I answered a lot of questions throughout this live. So I think I'm done. I think I'm done with questions for now, unless there's something else that has come in that I haven't seen. I'm just going to check Instagram one more time. No, I think I answered most of the questions throughout. Y'all asked some really good questions. The last one I'll answer is this one is for creative video posts for exposure and interactions. Would you recommend doing a regular post or reels all the time? I would say to diversify your content mix across the board, which is why if you'll see on social, no matter what platform you're on, there's spaces for static content. I know even on TikTok, you can post like photos and you can scroll, I think. YouTube, you got community now where you can actually post photos and, do a little like Twitter type update, I guess, in there. And then, you got Instagram with static. So all these platforms are encouraging y'all to experiment with and test different creative and content formats. So I would definitely continue to diversify your content mix. And like I said, you also know that people, how's it called? They consume content in different ways. So that's why diversifying your content across platforms makes sense. And also, like, you can reimagine a different piece of content in a written format, maybe. Like if I'm trying to think like different examples that kind of come across everybody here, but you can turn like a blog post, right? That's more long form. And then you can split it up into multiple tweets for our threads. We got IG threads now. That's just one example of how you can diversify and like even take one format and translate it into another. So I recommend diversifying, testing things out. And then also too, it just depends on what type of content you're creating. Like specifically for static imagery, it works best for obviously those high quality visuals. If you are someone like myself who says like educational stuff or resources, static posts make sense, but I also do reels. So I don't like, I've seen people go hard, like 70% reels, 30% posts, but I definitely recommend to have a mix within your content strategy for sure. So I believe that's the last question I'm going to answer. Y'all, I could be on here like 3 hours. So it sounds like y'all loving this. So if you guys are loving this, I'm going to need y'all to go to the replay on YouTube after this, drop a comment, leave more questions there, or send me a DM on my personal page or on the Unearthly Studios social. And then that way we can do like a part 2. And because I think we might need one. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have time for today, y'all. It's been so great chatting with y'all for almost 2 hours, but I need to go eat. So if you like today's masterclass, please let us know your feedback. We'd love to hear it. I appreciate all of y'all coming. On the screen, I dropped the Unearthly socials at Unearthly Studios, except for on Twitter. It's at Unearthly Studio. And I'll never forgive Twitter for not allowing me to have my full name. But it's okay. It's okay. Such we live. But follow us on socials. You can also visit us on our website, www.unearthlystudios.com, where you can check out our services. You can check out my portfolio with some of the artists, creatives, brands that we're working with. The blog is on there. That's going to be updated a lot more frequently because like I hold y'all to consistency. I got to be consistent myself. So I'm no different than nobody here. And yeah, this was such a fun time, y'all. I'm so grateful for everyone who popped in, showed love, asked some really engaging questions. On these next couple of slides are just a couple of our services that are available, that are live at this time. A lot of different packages. So for everyone asking questions about branding, how do I work on my branding? We have a service for that where we focus just on your branding, your brand identity, creating a custom strategy guide. Like this is what I do all day. There's consultations. If you like this session and you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can book and ask us anything consult with myself or one of my team members where we chat for 60 minutes, answer all the beautiful questions that you have. Artist development and management is invite only. I get a lot of requests for it. I'm one person. I cannot manage everybody or develop every artist. So if that's something you're interested in, keep an eye on our pages as we enter 2025 for future opportunities. And yeah, full service campaigns. We got a whole lot going on our side. If you're an artist that needs an EPK or a one sheet, a bio or a press release, these are just some of the additional services that we offer over at my agency. So our website's there. You could submit a project inquiry form whenever you're ready to take those next steps to elevate. And then we can hop on a discovery call to see how we can help best support you in your creative endeavors moving forward. So on that note, there's a couple other things coming down the pipeline, including our visual production arm. So just keep an eye out on the things that we're doing. Magic is truly brewing. And on that note, y'all, I'm out. It's been 2 hours. This has been so much fun. If you like today's masterclass, please let me know. Leave a comment on our socials. Give us a follow if you don't follow us already. And yeah, if you have any quick questions, I'm pretty good at answering those via DMs or just a quick voice note. So that's not to say that you cannot chat with me. But if you need more one-to-one support or you have a lot of questions, gonna have to book that consultation call. That's like the quickest way to get access to me. And yeah, thank y'all once again, everyone who came to today's masterclass. I hope you enjoyed it. We had so many people tap in live on Instagram, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn today. So thank y'all for showing up. And on that note, we'll catch you in our next masterclass. We will be live again in a couple of weeks with episode 6 of the Unearthly Studios Industry Trailblazer Chat. So if you haven't tuned into those, catch those replays on YouTube because episode 6 is coming out in a couple of weeks. And I've locked in some incredible guests for the rest of 2024. Some people that you guys actually know. So it's going to be a great time. But other than that, magic's always brewing on this side. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace, y'all.